नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है। मैं हूं राहुल और आप देख रहे हैं पीएम eVidya चैनल नंबर 6 से लेकर 12 तक की हमारी ये खास पेशकश लेकर मैं हाजिर हूं, जिसमें हम बात करते हैं मेंटल वेलबींग की, मेंटल वेलनेस की ऑफ आवर एडोलेसेंट्स। ये है सहयोग सेशन और आज के इस सहयोग सेशन में हम एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट और खास टॉपिक पर बात करने जा रहे हैं। द टॉपिक ऑफ टुडेज डिस्कशन इज हैबिट ऑफ पॉजिटिव थॉट्स थ्रू योगा। तो जो सकारात्मकता है उसकी तो आवश्यकता है ही, ऐसे विचारों की आवश्यकता तो है ही। योग की भी आज हम चर्चा करेंगे। हमारा ये पूरा सप्ताह जो है योगा पर फोकस्ड है और हमारी लगातार योगा पर जो है प्रस्तुतियां आती रहती हैं, तो आप उसके साथ भी जुड़ें। आप हमारे इस सहयोग सेशन का हिस्सा बन सकते हैं। यदि कोई प्रश्न है, कोई जिज्ञासा है, फील फ्री टू कॉन्टेक्ट अस, डायल द नंबर 8800440559 और यू कैन सेंड अस एन ईमेल ऑन sahyog.ncert@ciet.nic.in. These are the coordinates of contact. So let's discuss habit of positive thoughts through yoga. We have Miss Momita Som. She is the assistant professor in our Regional Institute of Education, Bhubaneswar. Miss Momita, नमस्कार, बहुत बहुत स्वागत।
नमस्कार, नमस्कार। Thank you for giving me this platform. Let's move forward.
Yes, we are also looking forward to it. Miss Sanjana Mukherjee is also the panelist in this Sahyog session. She is the practicing counselor. Miss Sanjana, namaskar and a very warm welcome.
Namaskar. Thank you for having me here.
Perfectly fine. So, Sanjana ji, you are actually a practicing counselor, the first person
Yes.
who speaks, who talks with the students as
Yes.
and when required. So let's begin
Yes.
this. So let's begin this session with you. And the very first question, here is, what is positive thinking?
So positive thinking is the practice of focusing on the good in any given situation. So the way we think actually determines as to how we are going to behave in a particular situation. So if our thoughts are more constructive and with the belief that we can come out of a situation or cope with the situation, all the physical and mental energy in our body will actually be diverted as such that we can come out of the situation. I'll give you a simple example. Because there are students, I'm talking about homework. Say you get a homework, right? And which is difficult. So there are two ways that you can actually talk with yourself. One being, oof, I can't do it. It's very difficult. So the face that you have is with so much distress. The voice that you have has so much disgust. So of course, the energy in your body will not also be so uplifting that you can direct your goal towards doing that work. But instead, if your dialogue is such that, okay, it is a difficult task, but I can try. So there is so much more hope in your voice. And of course, your energy would also be diverted in such a way that you can actually, you will probably find more ideas to do that assignment. And in the process, you will just not be happy to have completed that assignment, but also benefit from the learning that you have done. Now, another thing I just want to speak about is that, positivity nowhere means to dismiss or ignore negative. I'll again give you a simple example over here. Say you've fallen down and you've hurt your hand and you're in pain, right? And you share this with your friend that I'm in pain. And your friend says, stay positive. And you're like, arey, stay positive. Itna dard ho raha hai hand pe, so how can I stay positive? And it is true that, with the positivity movement that is happening throughout the world, we tend to say such things as stay positive, be tough, right? With the intention of helping the other person without realizing how that other person may feel. So in these situations, the best thing to do actually is to acknowledge the bad in that situation. So coming back to our example, if you are in pain, so the dialogue that you can actually have with yourself is, yes, I am in pain, I'm upset, but if I dwell in this pain, I'm going to feel more miserable. So can I find out, other cool things that I can do even with my cast on, right? Maybe you will realize that all the misery that you were having was not just because of the pain, but because you are not being able to play with your friends outside who are creating so much halla and shore while they are playing cricket. So maybe you cannot really, be a player over there, but participate in the game by just being a viewer but still enjoy the game, or maybe you can find a new role and be the third umpire, sorry. So I know of a person, who had actually, this is, from personal experience, who had actually got his right hand and he loved to write, okay? So when he wasn't being able to write, so as an experiment, he thought, let me just start writing with my left hand. So by the time his task was off, he had become ambidextrous. That is, he could write with both hands, and isn't that a wonderful thing to happen? So positive thinking is really, is the practice of following, of focusing on the good in any situation. Now, when we say any situation, it just doesn't mean good but also bad, because life will not always be good, and the sooner we realize that, it is better. There will be challenges in life, there will be troubles in life, we will fail, there will be pain, but if we have a mind which is constructive and we have the thought in mind that yes, we can come out of this situation, you will. And that is what the power of positivity is all about.
Right, and I think positive thinking is very much important for all of us. And yes, there is no life without any problems, without any hurdles. That's called life. So we have to be on the same path जिस पर सभी चलते हैं. हाथ में चोट लगती है तो ऑब्वियस ही बात है कि दर्द होगा ही होगा, बट इन सम टाइम वो चोट है वो ठीक हो जाएगी. सो लेट्स मूव अहेड. वी वुड लाइक टू नो अबाउट more about the benefits of positive thinking. So I would like to ask this question to Ms. Momita. Would you please share some of the benefits of positive thinking?
Yeah, very well. As Sanjana ma'am has already told that how we can channel our thoughts towards positivity, I would like to begin with like a very old proverb or saying goes like a sound mind can develop on inside a sound body. As we speak of yoga, we always concentrate our physical well-being. We really don't think of the mental benefits we get when we are concentrating on the physical benefits of it. So I would like to place the benefits of yoga and positive thinking into three aspects, like the physical aspect, the emotional aspect, and the spiritual aspects as well. If we see of the physical aspects, we think like when we get positive thoughts, we get positivity, like we think good things about others, we give away jealousy, we have a very good feeling about and calmness in our mind, we definitely naturally we get good sleep, which in turn stimulates our circulatory system, our digestive system, boosts our immunity as well. These are actually the physical benefits of not only yoga but as well the positive thoughts we get when we indulge ourselves with the things like yoga, asana and everything. Now coming to the emotional aspects of how it helps, how positive thoughts channelizes our inner emotions into building a very good character and attitude and a personality. Suppose we are getting a good or positive thought, we are always like in a feel good situation, which motivates us to get over our traumas, our crises, even the places where ma'am said that even if we are in pain, we can't look beyond it if we think negatively and we concentrate or focus on that. But if we think beyond that, we think positive. Okay, today if I am in pain, tomorrow I am going to get over it. Similarly, if we are in a position of trauma or crisis, we can think, we can hope, we can motivate ourselves. Yes, we will get over it. It is only just a phase. Similarly, it also boosts our self-confidence, our self-esteem. We get positive like willpower or strength to move ourselves ahead. We can develop leadership qualities as well. And if we go into the spiritual benefits of it, as we can see, with a calm and peaceful mind, we always get motivated to love others. Empathy. Not only sympathy, but empathy develops within us, which really helps us to think about not only about ourselves, but also the good of others. The thing like hope, optimism. Optimism comes with positive thinking. The ability to forgive others, These are the aspects of positive thinking, which in turn helps not only the physical aspect but the spiritual, emotional, and in, like I see, the all-round development of a character it gives into. So this is what benefits of positive thinking and yoga combined.
So we can have a balanced life. In short, if we conclude this, these benefits of positive thinking. So let's move ahead. We are talking about yoga and how yoga is helpful in the field of education, especially in the school education. We are talking about students for class 6th to class 12th. So the question arises for the practicing counselor, Ms. Sanjana, practice of yoga can enhance a more positive mindset. How?
So as Momita ma'am also said, when we envision yoga, the first thing that comes to our mind are the bodily postures and asanas, which are only a part of what yoga is. It is only recently, that modern medicine has acknowledged the importance of mind in physical health. But our ancient Indian texts on medicine have always believed that any disease, it is not just the result of troubles and imbalances in our body, but also in our mind. And that, both of them, they greatly influence one another. So yoga actually essentially means this bringing together of the mind and the body. And there are many texts, and many practices which are there, which tells us, how we can bring about this perfect balance and between our mind and body. But one such, school, that is Ashtanga Yoga, Raja Yoga, which is used, it is followed throughout the world. It is very famously followed. Now, Ashtanga, if we literally translate it, it means 8 limbs or 8 practices that we can do in our lives. And if we ever master it, then we can bring about that perfect balance in our mind and in our bodies. Now, I'm not the best person to talk about yoga, to be true, because even I'm learning about it, right? But I'm going to talk about or give you some practices which you can exercise in your daily lives to have a more positive mindset.
Okay.
Firstly, I will talk about, the way you behave with the world. That is yama. It will greatly influence how the world will behave with you. So the famous saying, what goes around comes around is true in many aspects. Practicing ahimsa. Now, ahimsa we all know is non-violence, right? But what does practicing ahimsa means? It just doesn't mean that you are non-violent in your behavior, but also non-violent in your thought. Okay? So maybe you think you are not a violent person, you never hit anyone, you do not use any bad words. But if someone has hurt you and in your mind you think, I'm going to take a sweet revenge on that person. So that is also, an aggressive thought or a violent thought that you are having. So practicing ahimsa means not only being non-violent in your behavior, but also in your thought. Satya, practicing satya. Satya we all know is truthfulness, right? So again, truthfulness, it just doesn't mean that you're truthful in your word, but also in your thought and in your action. Okay? Now you're very truthful in your word, but what you do is exactly opposite to what Satya is, then you're not practicing Satya, right? I'll give you a simple example. Say you lie. You lie to your teacher or your mother or whoever, or your parents. The first thing that comes to your mind after you lie is, what if I get caught? So, there is a fear that you have instantly when you lie. And when that fear is there, of course, there will be emotional turbulence and your mind will be tensed. Now, practicing asteya. Asteya are difficult to actually practice, but if you can practice, then I will tell you, it will give you so much peace and calm in your lives. Now, what does asteya really mean? It means to be non-stealing or not craving. Now, non-stealing doesn't mean, not craving. I'm not talking about big bungalows or the fancy food that your friend has. But things like, maybe your friend has posted something on Facebook or Instagram and he's getting so many likes. And you think, gosh, मुझे भी इतना likes मिलता. So secretly what
Right.
you're doing is you are craving to be like him, and you think it is coming out of the thought that I am not good enough. Okay.
Right.
So actually the practicing of Asteya tells that we should be happy with what we have and also not be desirous and not too attached with what we have to. Because nothing is permanent in the world and everything will change with the times, and that is how the nature of world is ever changing and ever evolving. These are only, 3 parts of Yama. Yama itself has 5 practices. Okay, so Yama is one part of the Ashtanga. I will talk about Niyamana. Niyama is like a discipline that we must, which is an absolute necessity in our lives. Okay, having a sort of cleanliness routine where you just do not maintain, personal hygiene, but also cleanliness around you, so that it just doesn't give, doesn't keep your body healthy, but also your mind healthy. If you are in a space which is cluttered and not organized, it brings in a lot of tension. Okay, if the scissors are not where it should be, or the glue is not where it should be, and looking for things all the time, it adds on to the daily hassles. Every day in the morning, you don't know where your juta is, where your moza is, and then what happens? You're thinking, what if, I get late? What if, there is traffic jam? I will not. So it adds on to the daily hassles and adds on to the stressors in your life and brings about an imbalance because of the tension it creates, right? Having a kind of a study routine every day, it just doesn't keep you prepared and ready for the class next day, but also gives you a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment that you could actually, do the task on time. So Ashtanga itself has 8 limbs, of which I could just speak of very few. So you can understand that how vast yoga is, right? And to understand the principles of yoga and to actually exercise and practice them and master it, it may take a lifetime. But the power of yoga without any denial is manifold, right? And so my request to the students is that, start reading about yoga, start exercising its principles, and you will see that, how fearless you are when you are confronting challenges, how confident you feel about yourself, and you will be emanating, reflecting positivity all around you. That is what the power of yoga is. And you must start reading and practicing its exercises.
Right, and gradually they will come to know the value of yoga and the advantages of yoga, and especially the yogasanas, the things, non-violence, truthfulness, and so many, as you are rightly mentioned about, in your previous slide. So this is the time when we know about how yoga is useful in the field of education. We came to know how we can think about positive thinking. But the thing is, we need to let them understand, the students, they need to keep these things in their mind. So Momita ji, this is the question for you. How we can expect them, what are the ways, what can be the ways to inculcate positive thinking, through yoga as per our adolescents? This is really challenging for them.
I will start with where Madam actually ended. Ma'am told a sentence that there are many folds aspects of yoga. Whenever we speak of yoga, we are very well confined to the physical aspect of yoga. Doing some postures, doing Surya Namaskar, and that much we are concentrating on it. But there are many aspects. I would like to state few. Due to a time constraint, I will just have a few discussion on it. As you can see, asanas. What is asanas? Asanas are nothing but the yoga poses, and how it helps in the development of positive thoughts and how it enriches our body, that it connects the mind with the body. Then we can come to pranayama. Pranayama is controlled breathing. It helps in controlling the oxygen intake, helps in developing the capacity of our lungs. And when we are enriched with oxygen, when our brain is enriched with oxygen, this stimulates not only our physical body but our mental strength, our memory, our good thoughts as well. Then combining asanas and pranayamas, what it does, it actually creates a harmony between our body and the mind. We often see that unless we have an element-free body, we cannot have a good mindset. If we are having a pain, if we are suffering along, then we cannot think and sit positive and think about positivity, and we cannot go around and make merry, right? So having a complete harmony between the brain and between our body is very essential, which we can get from asanas and pranayamas, which is not only affecting, like asanas we can see, which is affecting our core body, and the pranayamas affecting our mind. So this is a channel between a harmony between a body and a mind. Then comes meditation and mindfulness. We all know, we all think that how can meditation be helpful when we close sometimes it happens like we close our eyes and we get only the negative thoughts we have been going through. But meditation is beyond that. Meditation is where you focus on your awareness, where you focus on the negative thoughts and try to clear that away with the positive thoughts. Okay, not only sitting idly and thinking of the negative thoughts we are going through the whole day, rather going beyond it and how we can overcome it. That is what meditation gives you. Again, another important aspect is not only when we meditate, we self-talk, we think, but this thinking should be in positive language. Like it shouldn't be, I cannot do that. Rather, I will try, I can do that. That is the language we need to have when we think, when we speak. That also boosts our positive thinking and our mental and physical well-being as well. Positive self-talk, talking to oneself. We know when we start talking, it is a very old, like if we go into the psychology of the childhood and growing up stage, when we start talking, first children babble to themselves. That is not self-talk. We begin with self-talk, but we become so engrossed in interpersonal relationship that with the second stage, intrapersonal talk, we really get to positive self-talk becomes also important at a certain stage when we need to motivate ourselves. And this certain ways are very easy if the students or our academic school-going students follow this kind of step. It is very easy to stay positive and to write or to read the benefits of yoga.
Right, and I think
I would like to conclude it. Yeah.
Right. So I think meditation, mindfulness, and motivation. I think these are all in and around us. So we need to identify the power of mindfulness, yoga, and of course positive thinking. So we are approaching for the last few minutes. Ms. Sanjana, as a practicing counselor, what would you like to add here as a concluding remarks for all the stakeholders, including students, parents, guardians, and especially teachers, those who are practicing counselors as well?
Right. See, we all have a knowledge of what yoga is all about, but the real challenge I feel is in practicing it, actually putting it into practice. Okay, so we all have the knowledge of it, right? Mainly because of two reasons. First is there is no immediate repercussion or, result, right? Following personal hygiene, right? If you do not brush your teeth for a day, your teeth will not fall off immediately the next day. So there is no immediate result or repercussion. Secondly, our minds are notoriously distracted. Okay, so it is very difficult for us to actually bring our mind together to have a disciplined life. But again, the answer is it's just not us. Even, the great warrior Arjuna has been seen lamenting, saying that, my mind is fickle, it is impulsive, it is so stubborn, and it is so difficult to control, because, like the strong wind. Again, the answer is in, yoga, dhyana, or meditation, which Momita ma'am just said, right? So, the yoga, basically, if we understand with all the discussion that we had and, the reading that I've been doing on yoga is basically bringing together or connecting or making you as a whole, right? So the practices of yoga, it's just my concluding statement, that the practices of yoga on and off the mat actually will help you to make you a more fulfilling person. It will make you to further feel that I have enough and I am enough within myself, right? And that is the most positive thought that you can actually have, to know that you yourself are enough within yourself.
Right, and then only we can find some positive vibes from our inside. So let's move ahead. Momita ji, your concluding remarks, please. We have 2 minutes for you.
Okay, as I have already said, and Sanjana ma'am also rightly concluded, that not only the talks or the positive thinking, we cannot say someone that you start thinking positively by just saying. This has to be self-practice, and it has to start from a very, it has to become a habit. It's not that we are in a position where we are facing a crisis and we need to begin it suddenly. Rather, it has to be inculcated as a habit. Then only we can reap the benefits of yoga. That's what I have to say. That instead of having a preaching kind of thing, it should be a practicing thing.
Right. So we know from our childhood, practice makes perfect. I'm not going to use man, because now it is for the universal truth. Practice makes perfect. So let's conclude this session on a very happy note that yes, we all are, we have our positive mind, we have our positive thoughts from our inside. We need to understand, we need to identify. Thank you, Ms. Momita Som, for your time, for your content. Thank you very much for joining this session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sanjana Mukherjee. She's a practicing counselor. Thank you, Ms. Sanjana. Thanks for your time and the content we have prepared for the students.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. This is the Sahyog session. We were discussing about habits of positive thoughts through yoga. और मैं अपने सभी दर्शकों को ये भी बता दूं कि हम रोज सुबह 8 बजे आपके लिए योग शक्ति के नाम से हमारा योग सत्र लेकर आते हैं, जो कि आयुष मंत्रालय और शिक्षा मंत्रालय की एक संयुक्त पेशकश है. उसे आप जरूर देखें. उसमें हमारे साथ ट्रेंड योगा इंस्ट्रक्टर्स, थेरेपिस्ट होते हैं, जो कि आपके लिए योग का सत्र आयोजित करते हैं, लेकर आते हैं. तो उसे आप जरूर देखें. उसमें जरूर आपके लिए बहुत कुछ खास जानकारी होगी. और अपनी शिक्षा से जुड़े हुए कोई सवाल है, एकाग्र यदि मन आप चाहते हैं उसके लिए कोई सवाल है, तो उन्हें बेहिचक भेजें. सुबह 8 बजे PM eVidya चैनल्स पर चैनल नंबर 6 से लेकर 12 तक हमारी ये प्रस्तुति आती है, और NCERT के ऑफिशियल YouTube चैनल पर भी. फिलहाल हमारा ये सहयोग सेशन यहीं समाप्त होता है. आपसे मैं अपनी टीम के साथ विदा लेता हूँ. जुड़े रहिए PM eVidya चैनल के साथ. नमस्कार.